episode 2 of Sacred Sunday. Oh my goodness. Oh, and I looked down, it's 11 seconds. So many things have happened since I started getting this ready. So much has happened, but I'm going to give it a minute for everyone to kind of get in here. It's funny, I usually use this as a candle holder, but today I am using it as a smudge. I don't have a lot of space in the way I did this setup, and so I had to instead of using my little pot, my copper pot, I am using this candle holder. Okay, so I'm feeling like we need some blessings. I had a visitor earlier, and though it was a good, merry meet, merry we meet, merry we part, merry we meet again kind of situation, it was cool. Also, this just tremendous, like, very heavy energy like came in. So that tends to happen a lot. And it's interesting because the way things went down today was like not the way I thought they were going to go. But, I do think that that's how it goes. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just doesn't go the way we think it's going to go. Okay. Speaking of, I always, I don't want to say always because that's not true. All right. I'm just going to let it do what it wants to do because I don't want to, Ted the unicorn and Sprocket, Toad the wet Sprocket. Like, I never want to leave anybody out. But what's interesting is I felt like it kept wanting to go this way. So since it is, I'm going to kind of let that be. Hi, you guys. So as you can see, we're working with the Native Spirit deck today. And when I was getting this together, I asked Spirit how they wanted me to proceed. And I just got a very strong right off the bat. Welcome, hello. I got a very strong right off the bat that we are not going to be doing private readings today. This is going to be more of like a group reading. Hi, Anna. Oh, yay. Big hug. Hi, Anna. Welcome, Sacred Sister on Sacred Sunday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to episode 2. We're actually working with the Native Spirit deck. I was just mentioning that, and I was pulling the cards out. So we are not going to be doing a lot of one-on-one readings. Now, if things happen to come in, then I am all about, I love you too. I am absolutely positively like all about going with the flow. But last week was a very different energy. And that's why they wanted Sacred Sunday to be this. When we used to do Soulful Smudge Sunday many, many moons ago, I think what we all agreed upon during, especially by the 5th, 6th episode, I think we all started to feel like it was the community of it. It was about all of us coming together, wherever two or more gather, we're more powerful, but also just having one day a week to check in. And I want this to be a more natural thing. So like, of course, like if something comes up, like while we're, doing this reading for the tribe, by all means, but like last week felt more like, if I'm being honest, I felt like a Zoltar machine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And always feel free to recognize yourself if you would like to. If not, no worries. I can't see who's here and who's not unless you let me know. I do that on purpose. I know a lot of people like to be incognito, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes people are driving, they can't interact, they're just listening. So yay, cool. Thank you for being here. But yeah, last week felt very purposeful. And it felt like, I watch a lot of channels, especially channels that go live a lot. And people are like the other day, oh, thank you. The other day, I came across this woman who was doing, drink some water already. Oh my gosh, we just started. Drink some water, you guys. I'm like, I just started and they're already telling me to drink water. Okay, sorry about that. Also, I'm charging Isis up. I'm getting her charged up right now. If you're wondering what she's doing hanging out there, she's just doing her thing. But I saw this reader who was literally like, it was live. I don't know, like, how Spirit puts things in my feed all the time. And again, no shade, no judgment, nothing. It's always just a perception and why Spirit puts certain things in my, whatever. though I loved and appreciated their stamina and their courage and their strength to be 100% themselves, I was like, I don't believe this is your path. Now, I would never tell somebody that that's their path, but she was literally shuffling cards. She was live and she was shuffling, 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 shuffling. And while she's shuffling, she was saying things like, well, if you want me to answer that question, then you need to fucking pay me for it. And she's like, my she literally like says like my links to all blah 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 blah. And she was like, and then it was bizarre. And the craziest thing was, it wasn't that I don't know how to explain it. Spirits told me to be very mindful with my words. I guess the way I looked at it was, it felt like I was watching an auction. Have you ever seen an auction? It felt like an auction, like she was auctioning off readings, and it just was fucking peculiar to me. And again, it's like, it's no shade, it's like whatever, but there were 342 people watching, and you should have seen the fucking questions that were coming through, but like no money. And she was just like sitting there like a dealer, and it was just weird. And I was like, that's exactly like, that was my, when I stepped into my gifts and stepped into like what I was going to do, that was like literally my nightmare. I didn't want to turn into some, like, I almost said circus sideshow because that would make me a fucking dick. I don't mean it like that, because their path is their path. And I'm not judging it. I'm just, that's what came out. So I'm just being honest, right? With like my third dimensional still living in like judgment, whatever, but is it judgment or is it just like awareness, of like, I don't know. I just don't feel like that's how it works, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? And I think I get frustrated with that because I recently met somebody who, yeah, actually, you know what? This is perfect timing, because I was with you guys last Sunday and we were going very natural and very natural before we got into the cards. And I had a very influential experience this last week. I met somebody who was very supportive of the American president, current, and, they were very open-minded and very loving and liberal in some ways, and in other ways, being a telepathic medium, when people put things out there, whether they like it or not, I'm going to see it, I'm going to feel it, I'm going to hear it. If you are not grounded, you are not, like, if you're not protecting yourself and your energy, people like me, I'm like a fucking magnet to it. And it's, whether I like it or not, shows up. Especially if somebody like comes into my path, it's like, okay. And anytime I go out into public, I always say to spirit, whatever's in my greatest and highest good, whatever's in the greatest and highest good of all, if it's meant to be, how can I help? How can I serve today? And pretty much 10 out of 10, something's going to happen. But I'm always grateful when they do, because we ended up having this really great conversation. They were really awesome. I don't know if they've joined or not, the channel, but it was very eye-opening, I think, for both of us. And the one thing I kept saying was, I'm grateful that we may not agree on everything, but we can agree on some things. And the basic thing that we agreed on was love and kindness and fairness and things like that. So it's just very interesting. When people come into my orbit, 9 out of 10, they're a light worker or an earth angel of some kind. They don't know it yet. Sometimes people will latch on to ideas or idealities. I think that's the word, right? Ideology, of things, especially the way they were brought up. And being 53 myself, I've seen so many things. In fact, it's interesting because Jessica, Anna, and myself, we're all 53, I think, right now, because I think Jessica will be 54. No, Jessica, are you 54? Anyway, but we're around the same age. And Anna and I, our birthdays are like less than 2 weeks apart. So, when you grow up in a certain energy, a certain age, you have a different awareness, a different vibe, a different feeling about life. And seeing things through different scope. Right now, what's really powerful is that there's these 90s things that have been coming up from the 90s, which I think is really cool because it's at that point where people are like, I was born in 90, I'm 35, like the nostalgia of it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, and I remember. And it's like, wow, I was thinking about today, happy anniversary to myself. It's actually my 14th uh, anniversary of living in the Pacific Northwest. I started in Portland, Oregon first, and then I moved up to Washington, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years ago. I was trying to figure out today how many years, because I was like, did I live 7 years? I think I lived 7 years in Oregon, and now it's 7 years in Washington, or it's, I don't know, I have to figure it out. But either way, I've lived in both states and lived and traveled a lot in both states and lived in all different parts of those states to kind of understand growing up in the Midwest. Sorry, I'm like chilly. I was like so hot. The sun came out, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, you know what? I have a scarf. I'm gonna put it on. Um, but just going through all these different changes has been really intense. And I realized today, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was like 14 years. And then I started thinking about my old roommates who I just love and adore, powerful, powerful witches. And I was thinking about them. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I was 39 when I moved to the Pacific Northwest, and they were 23 and 25. And it was really cute and really magical because we learned so much from each other, and it was a really cool experience. But then I thought today, I'm like, oh my gosh, those young 20, in their 20s women are now in their 30s women, late 30s, mid to late 30s. I was like, wow, that's so amazing. Life just goes by, and it goes by quickly, and it's getting quicker, and things are moving faster, and we may not recognize or realize like what's happening. Yes, Sagi's sister. I don't know how I missed that one. um Anna put Sagi's sister. Can you guys see what you guys write to each other? Can you guys see that? I always wonder. I don't know if there's like a special thing. 1222, by the way. Now I'll just put a pin in that memory lane. But have you guys noticed how much, like, I don't know about you, but this whole last week, every time I looked at the clock, it was an angel number almost every single time. 11:33, 11:44, 11. Oh, thank you, Anna. Cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I have been seeing them like crazy. 444, 222. When Bubba was dying, I kept seeing 222. And then the day that we, laid her to rest, I happened to look at my phone. I had just taken some video and a picture, and we were out, in the wilderness. And I looked down, and it was 222. And now it's like when she comes to me, it's like every time I see 222, I'm like, oh, it's Bubba, which is also the number 6. So anyway, lots of changes, lots of things are happening. I was very excited when Spirit said that this was the edge of glory. I thought it was kind of interesting too, because when you think about it, not that I don't put together like native spirit medicine with the edge of glory. I think it's more like I was like, Lady Gaga was on, I know, bless Baba. Oh, she's so amazing. She's so amazing. She came to me in a bird yesterday. I took a video of it. It's crazy. She comes to me in everything. Spiders. It's been really, really cool. She's jumping around in everything. My dolls, my stuffed animals. It's really neat. And I realized she's always been with me. She's always been with me. She's been doing this forever. She's been doing this forever. That's a whole other thing too. Like, she's so magical. But yeah, I just started to like, it was weird because my phone was on shuffle, and all of a sudden, like, it went from like one song that was like really low, like la la la, kind of, I don't even know what it was, whether it was classical or like some meditative. It's on shuffle, right? And sometimes Spirit has me take screenshots of stuff. So I was in this meditative place and everything, and then this one song played that was really beautiful, that if they call me to, I will put a link below. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's something with the fairies, but just really, really magical. Like, I felt like I want to hear the whole album. Like, I felt like I just wanted to hear that song on repeat and just meditate for, so maybe that's for somebody, I don't know. But I'll put it in the description box below so you can listen to it as well. But I started to go back because sometimes when it's like a really good title, like a really good one of the album, the song, whatever, or if it's like 432 hertz or 77 hertz or something, you know what I mean? Like something like that. I can feel Spirit wants me to take a screenshot of it when I make my little montage videos for you guys, you know, the messages from Spirit that are for everybody. But anyway, I start going back and all of a sudden I'm like, what? I'm like, where was I? Like I didn't go outside. I'm like, where the fuck was I? I'm like, where was I? How did I not hear The Edge of Glory from Lady Gaga? Like if that song had come on, I would have been like, oh, about the edge. And I would have been like dancing all over my house and going cray cray, right? Like, 'cause I love her. And she's like one of my favorite. And, you know, it's funny when cray cray was out, I hated it and cringed, like literally cringed every time somebody said it. And now I love it. And I say it all the time. I'm always, in some ways, I'm always many generations ahead, and in other ways, I'm like the older person that's like, oh, you know, wait, you know, I don't even know. I'd have to like find something silly to say, but you know, oh, when I looked down, it was 1620. So angel number, that's our first angel number that popped out, which is also 420. So smoke them if you got them. But yeah, just like all this like intense energy, and then I realized bam, I'm like, oh, you want this for a fucking title for, you know, one of my montage? And they're like, no. And I had been asking them what our theme was for this. And then bam, I knew it. And I was like, is that it? Huge yes from my pendulum. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. So yes, I'll put a link to that too if you've never heard it and you need a good dance song, but also just the lyrics, just everything about it. And Spirit wants us to keep holding on. um, you know, the interesting thing is before this started, I was all over the map. I was actually a little concerned before this started because the anxiety that I was feeling was so intense that I was like, fuck, I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, why? You know, like, so I was grounding myself. And then all of a sudden I look up and I saw my landlord go by. And it's funny because earlier today, I felt like I was going to see him today. So I was going to message him and let him know that I was going to be going live, you know, blah, blah, blah. And this was going to be a regular thing. And because I told him last Sunday, but wasn't sure if it was going to be permanent. Long story short, they told me not to. And then I saw him and I was like, oh, I guess because I'm supposed to talk to him. We ended up having this like really good conversation, but at the same time, it was kind of an intense conversation and one that, you know, isn't always easy. Sometimes we have to, you know, say certain things. And the last few days since last Sacred Sunday, um, the weather just really turned to shit. And I just ended up doing a lot of projects in the house. And I was like, oh, I'll do stuff this weekend. And I saw the weather was going to clear up. And I was like, after this live, I'm going to mow the lawn and like all these things. And I was going to message him that. I was going to message him that and say, you know, hey, the weather's been crappy, but I'm going to get to it. I promise, you know, today. And bam, it was like we just ended up having this conversation. And then it was interesting because that energy like stayed here. Now, it may have nothing to do with him, but what I was trying to say is wherever two or more gather. So our landlord is super, super powerful, really gifted, beautiful angel heart, warrior heart. I mean, I've seen them, you know, um, I'll have to ask him next time if it's okay to share his stories, but I've seen him in other lifetimes. And like, this isn't the first time like that he's been there for people. You know what I mean? Like he just really loves to take care of people and it's just part of his calling and it's really awesome. Um, but everybody has their own path. And the truth is, I was a little disappointed in myself that I didn't work a little bit harder around the yard. But for weeks, I was like working really hard around here. And then Sacred Sunday, then the full moon in Scorpio was on Monday. I did, you know, those readings last Sunday. Then I worked on Monday. And then, you know, Tuesday, I went to the laundromat and I was there all day. Spent $120. Did one of those where like I washed everything, you know what I mean? Like a spring cleaning, rugs, you name it. Um, and by Wednesday, I was so wiped out, I could barely like handle it. And also after laundry, I went and got a shower, went and did um, grocery shopping. So like 3 intense days, I was like wiped the fuck out. I was just wiped out. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, or Wednesday, I rested. I had to, like my body was like, you know, you need to rest. Thursday and well, Thursday I just like rocked out and did a lot of shit. And then Friday I rested. And then yesterday I rocked out. And then today I'm doing this and like I have more stuff to do. And I'm noticing that like I'm my own problem, meaning like I keep trying to do things a certain way. And so he brought the medicine today. And thank you. I don't know if he ever wants me to use his name. Again, I'll have to ask him, but thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say Danke and thank you at the same time. I wonder if we have a German connection. I have to ask him that because I almost said Danke like very naturally because I have very rich heritage. Like I'm 70% German. So that's interesting. I'll have to ask him about that. But anywho, but I keep trying to go at this like old pace I used to, like all or nothing. And today he brought the medicine and he said, have you ever, thought about like just doing things like about a little bit here? And he's like, even just a little bit a day, just get outside. He's like, you need to get outside. And he's said this to me before and he's urged me to do that before. And I realized that it's a lot of my hermit behavior that I've grown into. When I looked down, it was 2110, another angel number to work with. I said, should I get a pen? They said no. So I'll have to go back and watch it and edit it. But long story short, if I had texted him, he would have been like, okay, cool, blah, blah, blah. And then he would have come here today and whatever. But instead, we had a good conversation. I also got to share some information with him, some private information, which was something that I felt like needed to be talked about and needed to be said and like kind of understood. And it was really cool because I realized like what's been happening has been super intense for everybody on the planet. And so communication is key. When I looked down, it was 2202 and look at that 222. Hi, Baba. Drink some water. So I'm sharing my stories with you because we are a family and we are one. And I'm assuming your stories are probably very similar to mine. I know a lot of times I would talk to you guys about certain things and you'd say, oh my gosh, the same thing happened to me at work, blah, 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 So feel free to, share your experiences or if you've had anything going on this week that you'd like to talk about. I'm going to start pulling some cards and we're going to talk more on this, but I'm going to have to send them a little message later and thank them. And because they've really been more than just a landlord, they've been a good friend. And, they were so cute today. They're like, because I was like, oh man, I'm getting the mouse. And he's like, what? I'm like, I go, they come and go. I'm like, it's really frustrating. But the funny thing is today where the mouse hit was something that I've been like, I really should throw that away. I should really get rid of that. And I tried to do something different. No. And like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know that old saying, 2309. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I feel like that's somebody's birthday. I feel like that's September, or it could be September 23rd. It could be an anniversary or something. There's something going on there, September 23rd, but it also could mean something. But that's the first numbers that came out that was specifically like, I'm like, angel number. They're like, yeah, I mean, they could, but there's something really powerful there. But also it's the number 5, which is about change and transformation. So it pushed me to throw certain things away. I'm always trying to upcycle, recycle, give away, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, just throw it away. Sometimes spirit's like, just throw it away. And it's in the most loving way, but I'm like, okay. Also a good energy to work with to get through right now is, does this thing, I don't remember if I can use flash. Hold on. If for some reason I lose you, I will come right back. I still haven't navigated this all the way. What's this? Is this a flash? No, that's retouch on. I don't really need a retouch. Okay, retouch off. I feel like there was a way that I did it last time. What's this? Huh. Oops, sorry guys. I swear on all that is holy. I swear last time I felt like I could put a flash on there, but I don't see where it is. What's this? I don't want to lose you. Highlighted saved to your channel as unlisted video. Are we still going live? Are you guys still there? I'm just checking it all out. What's this? Nope. Okay. That's not it. I feel like that thing, that's not it. Okay, so I'm going to take that as a sign. I was like, should I bring more candles? They were like, no. I'm like, all right. So I guess they want us to leave it in this kind of like, maybe, I don't know, maybe your weather's like this too, like a little gloomy today. But long story short, spearmint, we're working with spearmint energy. As I've said before, people gift me with things all the time. So I just happen to have that. I'm not a spokesperson for doTERRA, although I love doTERRA. Um, I mean, I wouldn't mind being a spokesperson for doTERRA if they wanted to sponsor this video and, give free, uh, no commercials. Do you guys get commercials during my readings? I think I've asked you this before. Anyway, I'm going off topic. So, medicine bag. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to tell you why this is so interesting because on Thursday, I think it was Thursday, I woke up and the mice had gotten to the altar and I was like, son of a bitch. No, it was Friday because today's Sunday. Because I remember thinking that would have sucked if I would have had to do that the day before the reading. So because they'd attacked the entire altar, I had to wash my medicine bag. And I put some new oils on it and stuff. So I want to bring my medicine bag out. I feel like it wants to go there. So I'm just going to leave it there. Oh, okay. They're like, don't cover the snail and the bird. By the way, if I'm moving at a glacial pace, it's the way I'm supposed to. I just watched The Devil Wears Prada is free on YouTube right now. And of course, I've seen it like a gazillion times. But you know how like sometimes you can see it a million times, but you just hear something again and you just laugh your ass off. But I love that scene where she's like, by all means, move at a glacial pace. Oh my gosh, Meryl Streep, she's so amazing. So, medicine bag. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit. Hold on. Okay. I feel like this wants to not start on fire. I cleaned out Anna, there's so many things on here that Anna has gifted me in the tribe. It's literally ridiculous, but in a beautiful way. Ridiculous good. But I like gave this a good washing and like got all the wax out that, and now the cards aren't staying the way they used to. I think I think that was a secret weapon that I wasn't aware of. See, when we overhelp things, I just feel like they want me to move that out of the way. Why are we prolonging this medicine? I don't know. Medicine bag. Okay. Gather your resources. Be discerning. Vast inner power is growing in your life. Step back and let it grow. There are times to shine brightly for all to see, and there are also times to choose carefully who sees your true self. Choose wisely. Do not make hasty decisions. If it doesn't feel right, hold back. You're protected from any less than positive outside influences. Your capacity and potential are growing in leaps and bounds. Your native spirit wants you to know it's traditional in indigenous cultures to carry a medicine bag or medicine bundle as a form of protection and also as a way to access your personal power through the sacred objects that are held there. The items in the medicine bag each contain potent qualities that allow one's abilities to magnify and also help one commune with the Creator. As your power grows, take time to protect it, just as you protect a seedling in the early months, and then later, once it's an established tree, it can withstand the storms of time. Protect your growing power, and it will become as mighty as an ancient oak. The journey of the medicine bag. Consider obtaining or creating your own medicine bag or bundle. Put objects in it that are meaningful to you and make you feel strong and vital whenever you look at them or hold them. Traditionally, one's medicine bag was not worn for display, but often hidden from view or kept in a sacred place. Yeah, I used to wear mine. This was made for me by one of my shamans that I walked with for 2 years. She made the whole thing. I don't know if she tanned the leather, but like she was like that I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. If not, she was probably gifted it, you know, by somebody very sacred. And so I wore this all the time, but I wore it under my clothes. And then sometimes I would wear it out. And I would say to Spirit, why do you want me to wear it out? And I would feel that it was like an amulet, like it was fully like protection. And then I noticed that the leather strap was getting thinner and thinner. And then finally one day it just finally broke. And I asked Spirit if they wanted me to make another medicine bag, and they said no. And so today, or the other day, when I had to clean everything, I washed the outside of it really good, but I didn't wash the inside because I know they didn't get inside. I could feel that. But it's interesting. While I was reading that to you guys, I got the vibe that it may be time for me to, you know, make myself a new one. I do have leather. So I guess our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to make a medicine bag. And if you have one, maybe you're meant to make a new one for yourself, or maybe you're being called to make one for somebody else, or maybe this is your calling. Maybe you like making medicine bags and you're like, dude, that's such a good idea. Why didn't I ever think of that? You know what I mean? The Spirit's like, because we're telling you now. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, because now is the time, right? Now is the hour. We have the strength and we have the power. So work with that energy. What other... Does anybody have any questions for Spirit? That just came through. We have 2 people here with us right now. Is there anyone here who would like to, or both of you, would anyone like to ask a question? There's no pressure whatsoever. And if it is, you know, solely about you, that's okay. If it's not, then, you know, maybe it's something about the collective. Maybe it's an energy. If you have any questions. 2 cards just came out, but they didn't have me look at them yet. So I'm like, I'm just gonna leave them here until they tell me. Oops, sorry, mushroom. That wasn't very nice. You want to hang out with Toad the Wet Sprocket? And put your little mushroom right here. Okay, cool. Oh, Anna, I just saw your comments. Did I accidentally turn my comments off or something that I can't see them? I'll have to keep looking because I saw still here. Also, is it horizontal? Because I put it in horizontal. So it should be. Now I feel like Ted's like, no more unicorn. Let's move over to... It's fun. It's like we're moving rooms. It's like we're on an episode of something and we're moving rooms. Okay, so listen, you don't have to ask the question. Spirit already gave the answer. You know what I'm saying? So no worries. We're just going to jump into it. Even though I pulled this one first, because this one's in front of it, I'm feeling I want to pull it. Is it because of this too? Hold on. There we go. We don't need that there anymore. That's why I kept doing it. Okay. Ooh, Grandmother Earth. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Grandmother Earth. The tiger's eye wanted to come in too, by the way. I mean, there's tons of crystals here, I know, but specifically the tiger's eye wanted to come in. So if you don't have tiger's eye, you might want to get some. Yeah, that's so weird. Last time I swear I could, let me see, live chat. All messages are visible. All right. You know, did you ever get that? I always feel like somebody's watching me. I feel people can be incognito, and I'm feeling that kind of energy right now, like that somebody does not want to be seen. So I'm going to take that very seriously and read from the Grandmother Earth from the response to that. Okay, that's the energy I'm feeling, like somebody doesn't want to be seen. So let's just answer for the tribe. Maybe they're not here right now, but their energy is here and speaking for them. So it says, stop and take measure of your life. Assess who you are and where you are. Get grounded. Make plans for the future, but don't act on those plans until you are ready and feel secure and stepping forward. There is a profound source of strength and power within you, and it is expanding now. Put your roots down. This is the time for preparation and going deeper. Your native spirit wants you to know Grandmother Earth provides the trees, plants, flowers, rivers, streams, oceans, mountains, and valleys, and supports us all with her bounty. She's stable and strong in her devotion to us. You are supported and loved, even if you're not always sure of it. Strength is growing within you. Don't rush. Slow down. The seeds that you plant now will bring abundance in the future, but only if you take the time to nurture those new beginnings. Take time to plan your future carefully. Don't rush into anything. Security and protection surround you. You are safe. If you're thinking of making secure financial investments and receive this card, it's telling you that it's a good time to do so. It's not a time to take risks. I remember this last time. Okay, I need to drink some water for this. Do you guys remember this card? I don't know if you guys remember this. I totally do. Because the way it's worded, it almost sounds like a riddle. All right, I'm going to say it again. Maybe you got it right away, but maybe I'm just inept. I don't know. But I'm going to read it again because it's a very interesting way it was worded. If you're thinking about making secure financial investments and receive this card, it's telling you that this is a good time to do so. But hyphen, semicolon, whatever that, you know what I mean? Hyphen? No. Here. Did you ever, like, sometimes when you read something over and over, it starts to not make sense or you can't understand it? But see what it's saying, and then it's not a time to take risks. So it's like, if you're thinking of making secure financial, so I guess what they're saying is, if you're thinking of doing something secure, meaning like, it's a good bet all the way around. Like, you just feel it. Okay, thank you, Spirit. I'm like, I'm like, why don't I get it? But I get it now. So they're saying, like, if it is a secure, like, you know it, and it feels good, then they're saying this is the time to do it. But if it doesn't feel good and you're like, it might be kind of risky, or it's not this time of year, blah, 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 whatever it is for you, I'm just throwing that in. They're saying, don't do it. Only if it feels good, right? You got the body tingles. You're like, this is right. This is, I mean, I'm sure all of you have searched for a home, right? And you're searching for a home, you're looking at other places and you're like, I like this. Oh, and I like this. But you've got your manifestation, you got your wish list out there, you've put it out there. And if you haven't, do that now. Put your wish list out there right now. Manifest. This new moon in Gemini that's coming up, you guys, next week is going to be really powerful. And I know we're going to do something special for that. So, start thinking about it. Right now, we're on the other side of the moon. We're just a few days away from the third quarter moon. We're in the waning gibbous energy, and, we had the full moon in Scorpio last Monday. And now, we're in the transition and forgiveness, the release and let go, like that kind of energy. And then we'll be in the rest and restore after the third quarter moon. So this is the time to start really thinking about, what feels good and what doesn't. I was saying to Spirit in meditation, I'm like, why are you having me start Sacred Sunday? Like, at the busiest time of the year. I mean, a lot of people do shit in the summer, especially on Sunday. It's like the grand dame, let's go to brunch. I was like, and they said noon is the best time for everybody. They don't have to be there every single week. They'll be there when they're meant to be there, and, that kind of thing. I'm sure I will be a Zoltar machine again. I do love it. It is fun. But I don't want to have to, like, pimp out. Like, I think that was the energy I was feeling from that person. I felt like she was like a spiritual pimp. You know what I mean? She was like, yeah, I'll give you the answer. Because I could tell she was powerful and she was the real deal. But I almost feel like, who taught you that that's like, because I walked the old way. But then again, that's judgment, right? That's me judging them. I just know that it's karma too. And I feel like a lot of us try to make our karma this perfect, whatever. And it's just not. It's just not going to be this perfect, little box with a perfect bow. Everybody's going through something different right now. And everybody on the planet is going through the same thing, which is disruption and change. And this is, it's a different kind of revelations than they projected in the Bible. It's a spiritual war, everybody's got weapons, but, everyone's educated enough now to know that, well, that'd be pretty dumb if you put this bomb there, because then it's going to affect the entire planet and it'll then eventually get to you. So I mean, just not very smart, where I feel like the spiritual war is different. People don't even realize that, I think that's what it was, is I felt like, but then I thought, but spirit may have put her there for a reason, or them, may have put them there so that they can help people who, because I feel like if you want the quick fix answer, you want to go to Zoltar, give me the quick fix answer, you're not going to get to where you need to be. The whole point of the purpose is the journey, which is the next segment. The journey. It's all about the journey, right? Grandmother Earth is here to help us and take care of us, but, we got to take care of her too. And acting like she's not important, or acting like it's not real, the shit that's happening on the planet, is just ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can see it, and I mean, of course, I kind of see where they would say like, oh, well, we went through the ice age and we went through, yeah, but we don't know why we went through the ice age, fucking archaeologists are finding things that were made with lasers like, 16, 20,000 years ago, or 24,000 years ago. I think the oldest one was. So it's like, who knows, like how long Earth has been used as a training ground or a training school, or this part of the solar system and this universe, like who knows, the way that we were brought here, our human brains can only handle so much. So it's like we have to do it in increments. So when I see that, like, let's do this easy, quick fix, let me just throw you some money, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're not going to get the result that you want if you just want the quick and easy fix. Because a lot of times too, people, when they want to fix something, quote unquote, they're coming from the same mindset of where the thing was broken. Wherever we were broken, inside, outside, however, you know what I mean? So internally, externally, every single one of us, even right now as I'm doing this, that's why I'm so transparent, or try to be transparent about my life, my relationships, and things that are happening, because I am human here, but I'm also aware and awake and know that there is something grander happening here, something much grander. So, when people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to a psychic and find out, should I date this person? It's like, well, maybe you should date that person and see for yourself. Use your own intuition, read their energy. If we were all individually well and healthy, right, like 100% all the time, we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't learn, we wouldn't expand our awareness, our consciousness. It doesn't surprise me that the native spirit medicine wanted to come in, at this time and the second episode. I had a feeling this wasn't going to be like this. When they actually, I'm not going to lie, when they said that it wasn't going to be like that, even though it was cool, it was fucking cool, you guys. I had so much fun. I was like, oh, India, Denmark, and then Mississippi in the United States. I was like, it was pretty cool. To realize that we have that kind of outreach. And I'm sure we'll do that again. But they're light workers. They're just people who were like, I need, some guidance right now. I need some help. We all need help and we all need guidance sometimes. But we can't just rely on that. We have to do the hard work, the heavy lifting ourselves. So the journey is to deepen your connection to Grandmother Earth and bring security in all forms into your life. Walk barefoot on the earth. Place your hands in the earth or make investments. Imagine the strengthening, grounding energy of the earth filling you and your life. It was really sweet. My landlord was like, I don't know if he said, I thought you were going to, or if he was like, plant some, blah, blah, blah. Because one of the last times we had talked, I had said that I was going to plant some stuff. And I've only planted one thing. I repotted, actually. I didn't really plant. I repotted Sugar, my strawberry plant, because if you don't know already, Jazzy died. It's okay. I saw her starting to go with Bubba. They were very deeply connected. I feel like she was giving Bubba the last energy she could, and then she went with her. But it was interesting. It was really interesting. So I thought, you know what? Yeah, this week I'm like, I'm gonna make sure that I get back out there. The rain came back in and just really kind of threw me the whole week. Just everybody's energy was really intense, and he's right. Like, I mean, that's where I flourish. That's where I thrive, is being outside. So again, super super grateful for angels that come in all forms. Do we have any questions or anything so far? Okay, good. Okay. So let's turn this card over and see what we have to say. Gathering your tribe. Whoa. That's so cool. When I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm going live. I said, I haven't done this in like 6 years. He was like, oh, wow. I'm like, yeah. And he was telling me how there's a shed next door that's metal. And he's like, if you can get a line from your house to the shed, he's like, it'll really even give you better reception. I was like, really? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, it'll act like a little conduit. I'm like, cool. So, but I feel like it's pretty good, right? Are you guys still here? Are you still with me? I'm like, nobody said anything. Not that you have to. It's okay. I'm just trying to see where everybody's at, because I'm on the same energy. Like I said, since I woke up, I've been like up and down. I've been like really into it. Then I've been like really, like tired. And then right when I was going to sit down to meditate, my landlord showed up, and then I did meditate and I calmed down for a minute, but not very long. So let's see what gathering your tribe has to say. But it makes sense, that's what I said to him. I go, I feel like the reason why spirits, I go, last time we did it for 10 weeks straight. And I said, I don't know why they're having me do it now. I'm like, but I feel like a big part of it is, it doesn't matter if it's summer. It doesn't matter if it's winter. Oh, okay. There you go. Anna said she's getting a chilled feeling tonight. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't looked at the news, but I try not to, but Spirit has been putting certain things in my orbit just because I kind of felt like I needed to know certain things. I don't like to, even with this, like I didn't really look at the news, but I would be upset if I did this and didn't, and then found out later that like some horrible thing happened. I did see that there was a boat crash last night in New York. I think that was the only thing I really saw. Oh, and I think I saw a bombing, but I couldn't go. I couldn't go to the, because, as horrible as it is, it's like, but things are happening all over the world. We're not just having things happening in the United States or bigger countries. They're happening all over the world. The world is imploding, and this is the time. That's why they're saying gathering your tribe. This is the time now more than ever. I feel like that's why they want us to gather. So Sacred Sunday is a place for you to come and, cry if you need to, ask questions if you need to, get direction if you need it, kind of thing. There will be times, I'm sure, where we'll just be like, this Sunday we're answering questions, the first, 3 people or something. I don't know. But even when I do channeling circles, I try not to do more than 6 people outside of myself, because the energy can get really intense. So when I do these live things like this, I love that people are here. But also, like, I can feel my energy is a little bit lower. Just like next Sunday, it'll be even lower. So I probably won't be doing like, but then probably on like maybe the full moons or things where like the energy's more hyped. But I don't know. I really feel like this was something that they didn't want us to plan. It's just a place where we gather every Sunday at noon. I will be here to support you, love you, hold space for you, bring you the medicine, take the medicine, both, whatever spirit calls me to do. Whatever I am called to do, I will do. So I'm going to jump into this card. You are loved and you are lovable and you deserve love. Support in all forms is flowing to you. You can relax. There is so much love around you. The Edge of Glory started playing in my head again, right? Because it feels a little low right now. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anna said, thank you, Lulu. We are here for you. And I feel that. And you guys are here for me. I feel that. And that's why, we're holding space, because we're the push pins all over the world. That's what made me so excited last week, is that, even if I never, I hope that they stay with the tribe, but if they don't, it's like it's the medicine was brought, the seeds were planted into those spaces, those places, those people, that energy, you know what I mean? Like it's all there for a reason. My voice is also part of my magic. So whether I'm talking, speaking, or you know what I mean, downloading, channeling, singing, whatever it is. Sometimes when I do these clearings and stuff, I can hear spirit using my body, and I feel like I sound so weird or annoying, and they're like, I know that they're like, just do it, and I'm like, okay, because it's somehow it's clearing the resonance of the space. Like it needs to happen that way. And it may not be, perfect and pretty, with the, like I said, in the perfect box with the perfect bow. That's not what it is. Medicine doesn't always come that way. I mean, look at the way they had me put the cards: medicine bag, gathering your tribe, and grandmother earth. So I'm hearing also, you guys may want to locally connect with your spiritual people and say, hey, would you like to go hiking somewhere in the woods and make some medicine bags? And either they could bring their own stuff, or you could bring stuff for both of you, or just bring enough stuff, and go make some medicine bags in the woods, or just do it yourself. Maybe it's just something to do that's like a solitude journey that you want to do. I was going to push the mushroom out of the way, but it looks like, because look at it, it says gathering you. It looks like gathering you, right? It's like, so at least take yourself somewhere into nature and make yourself a medicine bag. I'm going to ask them, because I wasn't sure if they wanted me to or not, but I'm going to ask them. So I'm hearing some of you are, I was like, do you want me to show them what's in my medicine bag? They were like, no. I'm like, do you want me to tell them like what I have in there? So I'm just going to give you the gist, okay? Because I feel like for some of you, I feel like for some of you, you're like, I don't know what to put in there. I mean, you can research all that too, but you could put anything in there you want. So we're going to move back over to the medicine bag. That's why they had me go this way. Okay. So inside here, as tiny as it is, I have a charm that reminds me of my father who passed, which is coming up on his 10-year anniversary soon. And I have little things in there that were gifted to me. Oh, cool. Anna's like, I was just going to ask that. So I have, like I said, I have a charm in here that, thank you so much for asking that. Because that's why I always feel like, sometimes I hear your questions without, it's not about who said it, it's about the, whatever. So thank you for confirming that, Anna. Because sometimes, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like if I hear it, I don't know who it's coming from, but I love that it was you and me passing thoughts, sister. I love that. But yeah, so I have crystals in there, stones in there. I have little rocks that I found in like really spiritual places. Just like everything that's in here is spiritual or was given to me by a spiritual leader or healer. Seeds, my shaman, put a few things in there when she gifted it to me, and they've still always been in there. I have little shells, that were given to me by another Native American shaman from their tribe. Just like things like that. And I've just been collecting them for years. I have a little yogi tea thing in there for inspiration. I don't even remember anymore. I'd have to open it. That's why I was like, can we open it? Because I don't even remember. The last time I cleaned it out was a while ago. But certain crystals and stones, like especially when I was going through my pancreatitis, I made sure that I had a calcite in there. No, excuse me. Not a calcite. I take that back. Fluorite. Because fluorite was really helpful for the gut, I have a rainbow fluorite in there. I think another regular piece of green fluorite, like little things like that. I don't remember what else is in there, but it's all about my connection to earth and to spirit. So I'm going to start over because this is really good. You are loved and you are lovable. You deserve love. Support in all forms is flowing to you. You can relax. There is so much love around you. Communicate from your heart. Share your truth. You are safe. Diminish your time with those who do not empower you or believe in you. Your native spirit wants you to know if the gathering your tribe card chooses you, this means that sustenance in all forms is flowing into your life. quote unquote, your people are those who resonate with you. Your people can include animals, plants, minerals, trees, as well as people. Be willing to ask for what you want in life. This is the time to put your needs before the needs of others. Your tribe is waiting to support and nurture you as you nurture yourself. Sometimes your friends are more your family than blood relatives. Find your people and cherish them. Your vibe attracts your tribe. I mean, Anna and I have said that. Anna and I have never met, and we've been friends for so many years. I don't even know how many years we've been friends, Anna. A long time. Like 7, 8 years at least, maybe longer. I don't know. Because I was looking at an old video that was at least 6 or 7 years old, and I was opening a box from you. And I was like, wow, time goes by so fast, but in a beautiful way. Um, and Jessica, too. These are two of my sisters. They are my sacred sisters, and we have never met in person. I mean, I've been on the phone or we've done Zoom or, things like that, but like we've never like tangibly like hugged each other or like broke bread. And you know what I mean? Like we will one day, I know that. But so I remember when I was that person that was really popular, and Anna says, "Hello, Jessica. I know I don't Jessica was at a wedding this weekend. She was going to try and be here, but I don't know if she was driving back. So she may be going through places where like she doesn't have service, or she may be somewhere where she doesn't have service. Um, let's talk about never meeting. Yeah, we will meet one day for sure. What's killing Jessica and I is we're only about like an hour and a half like away, like, but driving in a ferry. Like we're not even that far from each other. She's at a wedding and I'm like so bummed. She's in Washington. I'm like, dude, you're so fucking close to me. I'm like, that's like, she's like, I know, another time. Like she's been here a few times where, for family things, but it's always been something where it's like they're crunched for time. And I'm like, we'll meet when we're meant to, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't want to meet somebody when they're, especially someone so beloved like a family member, a sister, when it's like, although I would drive all that way and take a ferry to, I remember actually, you know what? I'm going to bring that up. One time this is when I knew, ooh, this is a very interesting thing. So, one of my really good friends, my best friend growing up, like best friend, years drove to school together, like all this stuff. Um, they were visiting, um, they lived in California and I lived in Oregon, and they were visiting their family member. And I found out they would always tell me after they were already here. And I would get so upset because I'd be like, dude, like, why don't you just tell me? You're like, oh, I just don't really have time. And I'm like, well, I will go to the airport. Like, we can, I'm like, whatever. I'm like, they're like, what, for 30 minutes? I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I can give you a hug and yeah, we can have a quick coffee or something. I'm like, of course, it's worth the time and energy for me, and I had to drive quite a distance or go quite a distance, to get to them at the airport. But I was like, you're worth it. You're worth it. But the interesting thing is, I really judged that harshly because they were very sensitive and empathic. And I think for them, it was very overwhelming to do all of that and to travel. And they kind of just wanted to get in and get out and get in and get out. And it was like, it's not that I don't want to see you, and then that one time, I think I had just seen them like 6 months before, or maybe it was a year. But either way, I took it really offensively. Drink some water. But I know when it's like a family obligation, I've done that, man. When I used to go home to Chicago and people would be so pissed if they're like, I didn't even get to see you. I'm like, dude, I was literally there for like 48 hours. Sometimes I would just fly in for a wedding and you know what I mean? And they were driving. So I'm like, that's a lot, I think it's like 17, 18 hours each way. Anyway, no judgment is what I'm saying. Basically, it's all good. Um, but your vibe is your tribe. And I think it just doesn't matter, and that person would still be in my life. I could have let that go. What I couldn't let go was that they didn't believe in what I was doing, and they would constantly make fun of this and what I do. And they'd be like, and when I would get upset, they'd be like, oh my God, I'm just kidding. I'm like, you're not kidding though, because you wouldn't say it at all. So when people are, my mom used to call them the left-handed compliments, right? Like where someone's like, oh my gosh, you look so good today. Especially, what did you say? You had 3 hours of sleep. Yeah, you look really good. It's like, so do I look good today? Or are you saying I look good for 3 hours of sleep? And then it's just like, can you just be like, oh, you look great, And then if they're like, oh, thank you, they could be like, you look great. There's just a way of like communicating with each other and connecting with each other. And so maybe this is for you guys to, yeah, you have your friends and oh, they've been your best friend. This has been coming up a lot this week. So I feel like this is for somebody at least because I've literally don't talk to any of my childhood friends anymore. So I feel like this is for somebody else. But, you know, just because somebody has been in your life for so many years does not mean they're meant to stay in your life. I saw this thing that said, oh, your old friends are the best ones because if they're still there, that means that like they've been there through every, change and every blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but it depends. Are they there because they're like, oh, we're friends and, or are they like, oh, I'm just putting up with you, because I think it's really gross to make fun of anybody, whether you're quote unquote joking or not. I think it's pretty gross to make fun of people for something that they truly, deeply love and believe in. That is somebody who should not be in your orbit or spending time with you. So the last part of this card, the journey, is spend time with friends and family members who see the best in you. Don't spend time with dream stompers. Take classes, share meals, take time to find your people. You will live longer and be happier. Also, I'm hearing destination too. This was at the bottom of the deck, Spirit of Water. So it could be for some of you that is your healing place is near water. So I'm hearing like take some time this week to go and sit with some water. Maybe go by a river or go in the woods or a lake or somewhere that's very serene and feels good to you because they're not having me read it or anything. This is just like a wink, wink, like to take a break this week and go do something really nice for yourself. But near water. Water is a great conduit for intuition and spirit. That's why people don't just live by water sources, for, usage. It's also because it's a great conduit. Spirit had me start watching Minority Report. I hadn't seen it in years and I had to turn it off because I was so sickened by what was fucking happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot that this was part of the story, that they had these oracles, these seers like us, stuck in these tanks, because they wanted to help murders not happen. They called them the precogs. Have you guys ever seen Minority Report? If you haven't, it's free on YouTube this month. But oh my gosh, it made me sick to my stomach. I forgot. I mean, it's such a grotesque, horrible thing to do to these beautiful, like angels, these earth angels. Let them decide how they want to help the world, but they just like had them literally like three of them in this water tank and they were linked up together, because wherever two or more gather. So I think that's another reason why a lot of people in our tribe like tend to like stay away from, people, or they wear masks and pretend like they're not who they are because they're afraid. The movie Unbreakable has been coming up a lot lately too. I had that in a conversation earlier this week, where if you haven't seen that movie, it's so good. And Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis are both superheroes, but Samuel Jackson becomes a superhero. Yeah, really good movies. Thank you, Anna. Really good movies. And the only way, the whole premise, I'm not giving anything away because this was in the trailer. The whole premise of the movie Unbreakable is that Bruce Willis is in a train that derails. I don't remember, it's been years now. I don't remember how the accident happens, but the train goes into an accident and I think everybody's killed on the train but him. And he doesn't even have a scratch. And they're like, what are you? Who are you? And Samuel Jackson's like, oh my God, you're a superhero. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. And he's like, no, I just, whatever. I just was really lucky. And he's like, there's no such thing. Like, that's insane. Like, no. So anyway, so he keeps pushing him and putting him in situations to like show like, no, you're unbreakable, dude. Like something, I don't know who you are. You're like Superman. So I feel like a lot of superheroes, a lot of super light workers, earth angels are hiding. If you notice, Spirit had me put that was an old video actually from Wonder Woman. I'll put a link below, but they, when Gal Gadot was playing Wonder Woman, a lot of people were rallying to have Linda Carter come back and play some type of cameo. They're like, she's still, very lucid. She's beautiful. Like, why wouldn't you, she still looks amazing. Like, bring her back. And so she had a little cameo, and I was like, fuck yeah. I was so excited because at that time, that movie had just come out. I just rented it. And that was one I don't think I waited for the library because I was like, no, I had to see it. And I just remember like so excited. And then I realized I'm like, oh, I haven't seen one. And then I saw that it was derailed and they got somebody younger. And so I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I was like, man, this right now makes me want to be a billionaire right now, just so that I can keep that series going with Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman and as that little girl, like, you know what I mean? That actress and Linda Carter, and like have the original people, like the Warrior Woman, the Warrior Island. You notice how they don't want that anymore? Like that, they don't want that kind of shit. They don't want it. I want to tell you guys something and tell me this is an experiment, okay? Tell me when you go to post something on your social media, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, whatever, let me know if you can hashtag divine feminine, because I have certain hashtags that I use all the time or have been using for years. And spirit, I didn't know at the time why, but now I know why. Sometimes I'll go to a hashtag and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know like when they were having me hashtag Baba the Great that it would end up like being where I could go and see a bunch of Baba, you know? But also for certain ones because so many people use a lot of the same hashtags. So you got to keep using it so that people will, find you. And I use Divine Feminine forever, forever, forever on all of my stuff since hashtags came to be. I noticed in the last few years that you cannot use Divine Feminine. And I don't know what the fucking, like, it's weird. There's a Divine Feminine energy hashtag. But when you go to put in divine, it comes up divine masculine, at least on mine. And when you try to type in, I have to type in divine feminine all the way, all the way, all the way. And it doesn't. So I'm like, what the fuck? Now, mind you, maybe it's something I accidentally, sometimes on your phone, you can accidentally take something out of your phone that's like, oh, you don't want to have this word in your, like maybe someone's name or whatever. So you can train your texting or your phone to like, stop that word from like whatever. Maybe I did, but it's weird. I've tried doing it and it works. Like you can go and click on it, but I don't know. So it's happened to me before and it's been happening again. So I'm just curious. But there's a lot of things that are happening, the fakery and the fuckery. So the gathering your tribe, the women, I love that our tribe is, I wouldn't say we're equally quote unquote men and women, but we have everything. We really do. Because we have, even from our transgender tribe members, sorry, I tried to say that too fast, to our gay, lesbian, bi, like you name it, straight, you know what I mean? Like we have all ages, we're from all different countries. I love our tribe. We've been really gaining momentum lately. And so I know that we're on to something really powerful. So there's something with that. But we have been working with the divine feminine for a long time. And I feel like, hello, Grandmother Earth came out. It's like Gaia is talking to us. Oh, Spirit Keeper of the West. Spirit Keeper of the West. I love that because they're having me put that right there. So I'm just going to leave it. Look at that, her. It almost looks like there. Spirit Keeper of the West. Oh, I just got the chills. So maybe some of you are thinking about moving to the west of wherever you live. I live in the west. I could move a few more hours west, but then I'd be in the ocean. but I am west. I am in the Western hemisphere. I remember when my mom came to visit and I said, there are a few places. I was house sitting in Portland, Oregon at the time. Remember we were doing do you guys remember that's when we were doing the Soulful Sunday at my old friend, Allie's house, Allie and Kyle. I remember that we did Soulful Sundays there, and then my mom came to visit. And so long story short, I said, I have like 10 places I want to take you to. And one of them was Cape Flattery. And when we finally got to this, because she was like, oh my gosh, this is really far. And I said, oh, I thought you could hike it. I'm sorry. And she did a really good job. I was really proud of her. It was a mile in, but they had boardwalks and things like that. Even though it was like through the woods, you weren't just walking, like through the wild. It's a national, it's a Nia Bay, and it's called Cape Flattery, and it is literally the most northern tip of the United States. And you can see Canada, and in between there's like a land, and it's the inlet for the Strait of Juan de Fuca from the Pacific Ocean. It's a really magical, powerful, spiritual place. And we every time we went there, like we could feel whale energy, but we never saw any. And of course, we take my mom. Not only were there whales, but there was somebody who just happened to be there, one of the rangers, and had binoculars. So my mom got to see the great gray whales with their spouts and everything, a whole pod of them. We all did. It was so magical. So let's work with the whale spirit medicine this week. Um, but there's something magical about certain places and certain energies. So I feel like, oh, when I looked down, uh, it was 110 and there was 111. So the angels are talking to us. So it could be somebody, it's time for you to start moving your energy west. I'm feeling for some of you, west is where your family bloodline is. Like, I'm feeling like, ooh, this is really powerful. Like, let's just say you're in the UK, and I don't know if this is specifically for you, Anna, but like maybe you're meant to go to Ireland, or you know what I mean? Like you're meant to go west. So I'm just giving that as an example because I know, like, I saw something recently, and please correct me, Anna, please correct me. I'm not from there, and my ancestors are, and you'd think I'd know more. But I understand that Scotland's its own country, and England its own country, and Ireland are their own country. But I also know that there's like it's all fucked up and been wars, and you know what I mean? Like I don't know where it sits and lies in this moment today. Um, but I was kind of giving that as an example. But it could be something like that, you guys. Like maybe it's something adjacent to where you live, and it could even be for you. I'm not sure exactly, but like maybe you're meant to move more west of like London, or excuse me, England, you know what I mean? Or Scotland or something, you know what I mean? But I just heard west. I'm feeling a very strong west, and we're going to read from the book Spirit Keeper of the West. Also, Warrior of the Heart came out, and so did the Trickster. That's really interesting. Spirit Keeper of the West. Oh, interesting. Okay, Spirit Keeper of the West. Okay. Transformation, letting go of the old, initiation, illumination, harvest. Gather your inner resources. If it doesn't feel right, don't go ahead. What were you just saying in the other card, right? They were saying, like, if it feels good, if it's all good, go. If it doesn't, go. Also, for some of you on that I know personally, I just heard, yes, you're meant to move west. So I don't know if that means like whatever that means to you, but you're meant to move out of your state and move west. I feel like this is for somebody that's not Anna. I feel like this is for somebody else. So California is all over the place right now, but I have been seeing signs for California all this week, and I kept asking Spirit, I'm like, is that for me? Is that for me? So it could be for somebody, but just be mindful of where you're moving into California, because there's a lot of things that are happening around there. If you want to go to Mount Shasta, yes, Mount Shasta is becoming a very cool, magical. I mean, it's always a magical place, right? Like the Lemurians and all that. And we go on and on, but I'm hearing yes. But weed itself, like Weed, California, and like that area can be kind of sketchy, and they're kind of like trying to flip around that whole, like all the towns and the places surrounding it. They're trying to make it more of like a family friendly and like a destination spot and things like that. Because it has such, spiritual properties and spiritual water and things like that. There are some locals though that don't want that to happen, of course, because that happens. I mean, where I live, it's the same thing. I live in one of the most magical places in the world, but every so often they have to shut down certain parts of the national forest because people just litter and they just are inconsiderate. And so, the nature needs time to revive itself and not have people walk on it. But I do feel like Mount Shasta is calling to people. So if you're being called there, I'm hearing yes. But also there are some of you that I'm hearing one day at a time you'll get there. I saw California. I saw Colorado. So wherever you live, Colorado must be west of you. This is really interesting. I just heard Tempe, Arizona. So I don't know if that means you're meant to move to Tempe, Arizona. I don't know if that means that you're in Tempe, you need to move west. I don't know. They're just, I mean, it's all, if it applies to you, please feel free to comment below. If it doesn't, no worries. But wow, that just came through. I'm getting chills all over my body. I was about to pause and go to the bathroom and take a break, and they were just like, no, 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 no. So that needed to be channeled right there. Also, I'm getting a strong pain in my tooth, in my upper, in, on my left-hand side, which is interesting, west, interesting. Yeah, very spiritual places. Yeah. I mean, well, right. I mean, people are like, where are my tribe? Where are my tribe? I'm like, well, go find your tribe at the spiritual places. Anna, why do you think I've always like been like, I feel like spirit was like, and I hope this is okay because we've talked about this live before, but how spirit, I just feel like you're meant to be an anchor in Glastonbury. And it makes sense because is it Glastonbury? Is that the one? I'm pretty sure. Because I've been seeing things, Steve Nobel, I think that's how he pronounces it. Recently, something came into my orbit, recent months, that there's a lot of shit that they want to do to the stones, and like it's become way too touristy because of hedge, I want to say hedge witch, but you know what I'm talking about, Stonehenge. But we need spiritual leaders as anchors there. That's why people, like, if you're being drawn somewhere really spiritual to live, you guys, it's not just that spirit's like, oh, just, willy-nilly go there. It's like you're meant to be an anchor. I said the same thing. I'm like, there's like 4 places I'm really interested in living. Also, Anna, I've been like, I want to get the fuck out of here. I was like, man, maybe Anna and I'm like, maybe I should sell all my shit and move to fucking Europe and be like, Anna, where can we go live together? Go find my ancestors, try and become a citizen. I'm not kidding. I mean, I've gone through everything with spirit. I'm like, should I go to Asia? Should I go to, because I have a very strong lineage in Asia. Right? Like, I mean, I've been like, tell me where to go. I will do it. I will do it. I'm like, I will renew my passport. My passport expired years ago. And I'm like, you just tell me where to go. And I just feel very much like I'm an anchor here. Yeah. Okay, cool. Glastonbury. I was right. So, if I personally feel like, Anna, you're meant to go there and drop anchor because your energy, it's kind of like today, my landlord's like, you're still dealing with my shit. I'm like, dude, I had a cat for 13 fucking years. And he's like, get another cat, get a dog. I go, trust me, I've prayed over it. I'm like, why wouldn't I have brought Baba here? Baba kept saying, I can't go where you're going. I'm like, so maybe I'm not supposed to because I'm not going to stay here. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I said, but in the meantime, I'm like, wherever they're fucking getting in, it's where I can't see because I've pretty much done everything but rip this place apart, and except for the places I can't see. But like I said, the mice keep showing up, and even when they did that with the altar, I needed to do another deep cleaning. I needed, you know what I mean? It's like whether we like these little hiccups or not, they're there for a reason. These pivots, also my eyes are going to the quartz crystal, so work with a clear quartz crystal. You guys, this, I don't know, I was gonna say, I don't know if it's gonna, oh, look at that, they're like, it doesn't matter. I felt like this wanted to speak to somebody. So anyway, like, yeah, like, right, like, I want a guard dog, or I want something to chase these critters away, but for right now they're not supposed to be here. And I'm like, okay, well, I take that very seriously. When spirit tells me that, I take it very seriously. So if you haven't gone somewhere and you're waiting for divine timing, then go. If you were waiting for an answer, I feel like spirit's like, this is your answer. But again, it's got to feel good, it's got to feel right. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. But how would you find your tribe? Remember earlier when I was talking about when I first moved to Portland, I didn't know anybody. I'd been there once on vacation, like many years before, and I found my roommate. I actually went there and stayed in an air. Like, if I could do it all differently, I would have done it differently. And that's why when I tell you the way now is the way I wish I had done it, because instead I hired an Airbnb. I didn't have much money. I had about 2 grand. And I was like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make this work. I was called here. I just knew I was meant to come here. And so to the Pacific Northwest, and I'd lived in California off and on for like a decade. And so I'd always loved the West Coast, but the furthest I ever got was San Francisco. And I was like really called to go further and beyond. And then I went to Portland for vacation. That was it. So long story short, I got an Airbnb, and it was awful. The people were awful, and they basically robbed me because it was such a horrible. I was basically in somebody's like walk-in closet. It was so small that I could like I could be with my feet on the bed, stretched out, and like almost touch the dresser. And I'm 5'2". It was ridiculous. It was so fucking expensive, especially looking back at the time period and everything. And the neighborhood was really, really rough, but they made it sound so good. They're like, "Oh, we're on the train line and we're blah blah blah." And then I'd already paid, for the month because I was like, "Well, I'm going to stay here." They gave me one section of the kitchen and cabinets. When I went to open the cabinets, there was fucking mouse shit everywhere. I was like, how could you rent to somebody? And like, they're like, oh, we're really natural. And I'm like, there's natural and then there's just gross. And they were just gross. Like I had to, because I couldn't even, the kitchen was so gross. When I went to open the cabinet, there was a dead fly between, you know how like when you have cabinets that have two cabinets, but then it's one big space, but then they have like something down the middle, like to close the cabinets in. Yeah, it was that. There was a dead fly smashed between that. So that's why I say to people, like, really do your homework. I told them I was uncomfortable with it. I told them I was upset about it and I didn't want to stay there. They wouldn't give me my money back and it was a fucking nightmare. But you know what I did? I looked at ads and I found my roommate and she was amazing. We became such good friends. And like, because of her, I met all these other people and like then within a year, like half the people in our building, there was only like 8 apartments and like half the building was like, we were all really good friends. We looked out for each other. We were all artists. We all helped each other. When somebody needed food, somebody would help with, food stamps, or somebody would help with money. When we wanted to drink or party, be like, hey, I just made a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like we all looked out for each other and helped each other. And it was amazing, So without them, I would have never made it. And then when I was like getting to a place where like things weren't good, I needed them with the tough love where they're like, dude, you know what? You need to, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I was just like kind of losing myself. So, because I was pulling away from like my old world and my old friends and my family, and they were becoming my new family. And even them, like in recent years, we've pulled away because we were just going down different paths. We were, but I think we'll come back around again. At least I hope so. But for the time being, like I had to move away from there and I moved away. They were my family in Portland and I moved up to Washington, and then I'd go down and visit and stay with them. Like, I was house sitting for my friend when I was doing the spirits, soulful smudge Sunday. It's like we all play a part in each other's path and each other's purpose. So, but also Gabriel is the archangel of the West and the archangel of communication. So maybe this could be a little shout out to work with that energy, to work with Gabriel and work with the water energy. We did have that card that came up, remember, that said the water. Also, look what's at the bottom now. Dream traveler. Are you traveling in your dreams? So the spirit keeper of the West says, transformation, letting go of the old, initiation, illumination, harvest, gather your inner resources. If it doesn't feel right, don't go ahead. Trust your heart. Chaos brings positive change. Almost all change comes out of turmoil. Don't be concerned if there's confusion in your life. It will all work out, right? Like, so like if you're moving out from somebody or you're breaking up with somebody or whatever, like, I mean, we all go through it, right? Where that period of time, I'm still in mourning of Baba. I think of her every day. I see her every day, right? Like, but at the same time, it's like that part of my life is over. That I'm still mourning that, when he was like, oh, just get an animal. I'm like, I can't just get an animal. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be a familiar and it's going to come when they're meant to. And, that's why I said to Spirit, is it time for me to travel or move to another, state? Or one of our tribe members is moving to Hawaii. She's like, I don't know how long I'm going to be there, but I was like, should I go to Hawaii? Should I, I'm always like, where should I go? But sometimes we're running and sometimes we're where we're supposed to be. So right now I'm supposed to be here. And like I said, without, going a little bit further and going into the ocean, I'm pretty fucking far west. But also I got the vibe like this week I need to go west. And I'm hopeful because actually in real time, not only is today my 14-year anniversary in the Pacific Northwest, but it was 10 years ago that this weekend that Alder and I met. We met online on a Saturday night. We started texting each other on Sunday. We had our first date on Monday. So tomorrow will technically be 10 years that we met in person, but we met this weekend online. And we didn't meet through pictures either. We met through, he had a tree of life in the Ouroboros, and that's how we met. And it was just so, I wasn't even looking for that. You know what I mean? I mean, I was, but I wasn't. So everything happens for a reason. And of course I cried this weekend because I'm like, why aren't we together? Like, why aren't we, um, I did a little crying thing on my Lula's Labyrinth because I was feeling that, Colin Ray like came to me and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this song makes me cry. And I remembered it just like it was yesterday. It's such a sad breakup song, but it's also about addiction. It's a really, thank you, honey. Bless you, bless all of you. Anna said, bless you. Um, but that song by Colin Ray is called Little Rock, and it's about somebody who wants so bad to be with their family, but they just can't get clean. They just can't get straight, and part of the lyrics, he says, I haven't had a drink in 19 days. Oh, it gets me every time. I mean, he's like, I like the preacher from the Church of Christ, and he's like, I'm sorry that I cried when I, talked to you last night, because obviously they were an addict and the person had had enough and they're just like, I'm done. Like, there's no more, like, I'm gone. And they're like, well, I'm trying. They're like, that's cool. I'm glad you're rebuilding your life, but I have to get on with mine. And that's kind of how I've been feeling that Spirit's saying for all of us with friends, family, lovers, companions, whatever. It's like, yeah, addiction is so fucking hard. We all have addictions. My food addiction is like not the way it used to be, but I still have my things. I still have my moments. And I had a moment with Spirit recently with it where, in some ways I feel like they're like, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. And then in other ways they're like, you're done, you're done, you're done. And you'll get there. And watching some old episodes, I realized just how far away from like my good food diets I'd gotten, and also from living off grid, because like in this situation, I can't have fresh fruits and vegetables. That's the kind of shit that fucking brings them in. I've got to get something like a pie safe or something, where they can't smell things. Like, I just realized like certain things that have to change and happen. But I also kind of feel like I'm still in flux. I'm living in a half remodeled home, doing the best I can with what I got. But there are definitely days and there are definitely times where I'm just like, I just want to run. I want to run away. But some of us were meant to stay and fight. And some of us, it's like, no, it's like, this is done. Like, you can't, because addiction is addiction is addiction. And you cannot change anyone. They have to do it themselves. It is an inside job. And sometimes, like in that song, like, I don't know the ending, right? Like, he even says at the end, without you, baby, I'm not me. But sometimes when people get out of a cycle, especially a cycle of addiction, whether it's I can't be alone, so I'm going to be in a relationship. I was with somebody who was I was with someone who was never alone. And then I had a friend who was never alone, never alone, never alone, never alone, never alone. From the time they were 16 until they're in their 50s, never. I can't even imagine. The longest stint I went was 7 years. I mean, I had lovers and stuff, but like, and I did live with someone, that I thought I was going to marry, and then I kind of went back to being single again. It was a blip on the radar, but a good blip, a loving blip. I loved them and I loved everything about them. I fell in love with them, but like, I was like in love with the idea of them and me together, but the reality of us was very different. We were very different people and we weren't going to be happy. And I didn't want either of us to have to change who we were, so I had to step away. And that one was really hard because I still to this day, I love him dearly and I think about him all the time. And wish him well. Last I heard, he was very happy and doing very well. So and you know what I mean? Like, I remember one time he said to me, I'm so glad we didn't get married, because his wife is like his best friend and they play video games and all the things that I didn't want to do with him, that, you know what I mean? Like, it does make a difference, especially when you're a light worker and a spirit warrior. It does make a difference to have somebody in your life that's on the same path as you. You cannot practice your medicine. You cannot practice your medicine if there are other people who, aren't taking theirs, if I'm being quite honest, you know? And so, addiction is hard and it's horrible and all those things, but, we all have problems. And I'm not saying that to be a dick. It's just the truth. We all have problems. We all have issues. We all have things. But we're not here to mother people. We're not, I had a breakthrough recently, and I'm not saying this to throw flowers at myself or be a dick, to my partner. But I realized something really important recently. The reason why they're struggling so hard is because my light is so fucking bright. And I didn't realize how much they were siphoning my energy and draining me. And that's why last year when I had a meltdown and I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like, we went from having a really good time and a really great day to me like laughing and whatever to me crying, and then him going, what's wrong? I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And it started like that. And he was like, I don't get it, to me being like, I can't do this anymore. I'm like, because you don't even recognize what you're doing. I'm like, do you not notice that like I'm in the best mood? And then like, depending on how you are and how your day is, that's the rest of how the rest of my day goes. Or I'm like the cheerleader for the rest of the day trying to make you happy. And I'm like, it's just too much work. And I said, your highs and your lows they're very extreme. And that is the whole purpose, is that, when we're on medications, so many people are on medications instead of actually fucking working through the highs and lows and understanding how to control our emotions. I'm not saying you shouldn't cry. Of course, crying is cathartic. We need it. It cleanses the palate of the soul. We need it. But it's like today, like I needed that little pep talk from my landlord to be like, I know you, like, you need to get outside. You need to, he's like, you haven't really done anything. I'm like, I'll be honest. I'm like, I haven't. I'm like, this week was really stressful and I was really tired and it was good. I'm like, but it was just really intense for me energetically, but I'm like, I'm going to do better. I'm going to try harder. I promise, I'm like, I'm going to, and this is like the second time in a year that he's had to have this conversation. And I was actually disappointed in myself because the last few days I really did want to do more, but it was just it was rainy and cold and windy. And I was like, dude, the weather up here has been really rough. I'm like, I don't know if you've been up here. I'm like, and I'm not lying, I'm not. I'm like, I'm not lying. It's just been rough. I mean, yesterday was like one of my favorite events of the year and it was pouring rain and I was like, oh, that sucks, but I was really bummed that I couldn't go. But I was like, I'm kind of glad I wasn't there. It was, the weather was awful all day yesterday. I really, really wanted to try and do the yard yesterday, but it was just all over the map, I'm like, kind of like this reading. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, sometimes we just have to make those changes for ourselves. And if it falls in line with other people, then it's great. And if it doesn't, then, and it doesn't mean it's forever. I definitely still feel like Alder and I are fine. I feel like we're going to be fine. I really do. And maybe I'm living in oblivion of my own happiness, but I do. I believe in magic and miracles. I believe in love. And lately I've been really working with affirmations. I push you to work with affirmations as well, especially when you're waking up and when you're falling asleep. Because sometimes I wake up, like this morning, wherever I was astral traveling for sure. Talk about dream traveler. But I don't remember exactly what happened. And I wanted to, you know what I mean? Like it was like, sometimes I feel like an investigator that's like, I was hot on the trail, and they're like, nope, nope, nope. So they take me out of it and I'm like, oh, okay, next time. But then I woke up and I was just kind of in a funk and the weather was kind of funky. And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, am I going to be able to do this today? But then I got myself in a good mood and, and then I was just all over the map. But I realized that it was the energy that was controlling me, especially like when I was linking into you guys and the universe itself. And so that is something that they want us to really work on, is our energy, our own energy, and what we're saying to ourselves inside our thoughts. That's the worst place, is the captive thoughts of our own. That is the hardest place to be, is in our own thoughts, especially if they're in the negative energy or in that dark realm, of like lost in the abyss, But sometimes you have to be lost in the abyss and the dark night of soul to get through shit. And that's where I feel like my partner is. And I've done as much as I can. Now I'm like, I'm just leaving it up to wherever it lands, wherever it sticks, whatever happens is where it's going to be. And I'm okay with it either way. So sometimes we're just in a little bit of a holding pattern, right? Little snail wanted to come in. Sometimes we're in that holding pattern for a reason. So this says, your native spirit wants you to know, in the medicine wheel, the west is the direction that symbolizes the fiery setting sun autumn, the waning moon and the time of harvest, and the tumultuous years of teenagers in the human cycle. Out of the chaos arise illumination and transformation. In order for the new to ignite in your life, it's necessary to let go of the old, sweep away the debris. The spirit keeper of the West reminds us to slow down our rapid growth and harvest what we have attained. In the autumn, leaves are burned to make way for new growth. Release the dross in your life to make way for new growth. And remember earlier, somebody, that tooth thing came up again too. So I feel like this is definitely for somebody, before it like really hurt though. Like I felt pain, and talk about west side, because I always think of like my left side as my west side, right? So I feel like for somebody on your left-hand side, your upper back teeth is where I feel like it's coming in. And I don't know if it's your teeth or your gums or something in your face or something. So if it's something, I feel like go to a natural dentist if you can. It's really important to go to a natural dentist if you can. Honestly, that's the best way to go. But it could be something else. I don't know if you want to get an x-ray of your face. And you know me, I'm not a doctor. Please consult a physician. I don't want somebody to try and sue me and say, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a doctor, but I definitely feel like that medicine is at least for one person, that there's something going on with that area. Okay. So the journey says, stand facing the west and the setting sun. Imagine that all limitations and blockages in your life are flowing from your heart into the sun. As the sun sets, it carries with it your cares and concerns to be transformed by its purifying energy. Oh, that's beautiful. Also, I saw, oh, good for you, Anna. Anna said she started back at the gym and yoga and tennis. Oh, yay. I bet it does. I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying, like dancing, anything. That's why sometimes you'll see me throw on funny dance videos on Lulu's Labyrinth, because I'm like, just get up and dance. When you're feeling really depressed, do something that makes you happy. Now, sometimes you need to just sit in it. I get it. I get it. Cry, sit in it for a minute, but then pull yourself out of it. Right now, the energy is so heavy, it'll tear you down. It'll pull you down. People are like, why didn't fucking Jack get on the raft with her, and to the Titanic? It's like, because it was barely holding her up. It would, he wanted her to live. He wanted her to have a better chance than he did. And he didn't think that it would be enough room. He thought it would sink, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we just have to look out for ourselves, because, if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of other people. So that's really profound. Okay, so wow. So I feel like I want to do something with this card. Maybe I'll do it for a shorts. But yeah, work with the affirmations in the morning, at night. I recorded a few things that came into my orbit. Well, I didn't record. I recorded the video, but like the affirmations are from another channel. I never even heard them, but I feel like Spirit wants me to put them out there. But yeah, so work with affirmations. But yeah, it's all about energy. It's all about energy. Do we have any? I'm like, either I have to go to the bathroom or we're done. Okay. Are we done, Spirit? I think we're done. That was beautiful. Hold on. Do we have any more messages, Spirit? Any channeled messages for our tribe members? Any questions? Anna, anybody else who is here, do you have any more questions, or do you feel good? Because I could take a break and come back. I'm not getting anything. I feel like they wanted me to look at my calendar, so I'm going to look at my calendar. Okay, so in real time, I already told you guys it was my 14-year anniversary, 10-year anniversary with Alder. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, we're at the edge of glory, like, but we have to be our own superheroes, is basically what I just heard, Spirit, as we close this up. It's time for us to be our own superheroes. That's why we're getting a lot of superhero metaphors and superhero movies. And, when people are like, oh, people spend too much money on superhero shit, I'm like, are you kidding? We need people to believe in that. That's the same as clapping for Tinkerbell. Like, we need people, because we all have superpowers. It's just that we've been like told to believe and made to believe that we're not superheroes and that we don't have superpowers, but we do, all of us. Even if it is just, helping people here, helping people there. Like, I've been running these channels for years, every single day, all day long. When I'm not working inside or outside my house, I am asking Spirit, I'll get a vibe or I'll hear a song and I'll be like, do you want me to post something? Do you want me to create something? It's like, I'm born to be a muse. That's part of my fucking job. I'm like, I'm a clown. I'm a muse. I'm a joker. I'm anything you want me to be. But most of all, I'm the fool. I'm the fool in the tarot, because I go in between all worlds all the time. There is no like real lines or barriers for me. And so, you know, energy, I even said to my landlord today in the most gracious way, I'm like, I don't think you understand. I'm like, I'm an empath. Like, I'm like, energy is really intense for me. Sometimes I really just, I don't even have the energy to go outside. You know, I just don't. Like, I just really need to just chill. That's why a lot of times I make a lot of food. I've been frustrated with the animals because, like, or this mouse issue because I can't leave food. You know, I can't like certain things, like I like them room temperature. I don't want to have to put things in the fridge. I have a tiny mini fridge and I only have one small pot that will fit in there. So I can't make big batches of soup. But you know what? Just like Anna working out and going to the gym and yoga, same thing. It's actually been forcing me to every night, I've been putting things away. Every morning I check everything. Like today, I'm like, how did they get in the stove? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm like, I have everything. They didn't get on anything else or counter, but they still got inside the stove. And I thought I had like, so there's still some way that they're, you know, it's like a little investigation, but it's keeping me on my toes to keep my house clean, to keep my area clean. And because I'm very fastidious that way, mice are very clean too. People think they're dirty. They're not. It's almost like they're saying like, you know, keep this little cleaner, you know, make this cleaner because there's no food sources or water sources for them. There's no clean water sources and there's no food sources for them. It's been a very interesting time in that respect. But I was grateful because they were right. I needed to get rid of that thing. I needed to certain things. I just need to let shit go. So, you know, in fact, I wanted to go to the dump last week because I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to take to the dump again. I did another purging. So I urge you, whether you're in our northern or southern hemisphere family, purge. That's what spring and fall is for. It's about planting the seeds. It's about reaping the harvest, and it's about purging and cleaning so that when we're having fun in the summer, we don't have to think about that. And in the winter, when we're more of a sedentary and a quiet space, we don't have to concern ourselves with that. That's why we do it. You know, you clean every day though. We got to clean. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to take showers. We got to, you know, this last time I went too long again, even though I spit bath or whatever and wash my hair, it's just not the same. It's like I need to like feel the hot water running over my body. I need to feel that cleansing energy. So, you know, right? Like Anna, she's all good, right? Like, yeah, it sets you fucking straight. It makes you right as rain. When you are being connected to spirit, right? And when we are working with that Western water energy, medicine bag, keeping connection with spirit. All right, I think that's it. Okay, is that it? All right, thank you. I love you too, Anna. And thank you for all of you who were here today. I saw people popping in and out, but I don't know who was exactly here. Anna was the only one that I saw that spoke up. I don't think anybody else. Let me see, I'll look back, but I think it was not just you, Anna. You're awesome. Thank you for anchoring. Last Sunday, Jessica was our anchor. Thank you guys. It really does make a huge difference to have at least one anchor here. It's really nice because you guys are we're all so powerful. But it's nice to have like wherever two or more gather because it's like bam. And Anna, I'm going to send you some loving healing energy for this exchange of energy today. Thank you, everybody. And if you would like to work with me one-on-one, all of my information is in the description box. Or if you would like to donate anything to the tribe in any way, shape, or form, all that information will be in the description box. Once it's uploaded, I forgot to put it in there when I started this. Ooh, listen to that, emergency. Spirit saying, and take it easy, take it slow. Unless it's a real emergency like that, you don't have to do something. Just because they said that about the cleaning doesn't mean you have to. A lot of times, you know what I do? One day on, one day off. One day on, one day off. Like I'll have one day, I'll kind of go balls to the wall. I'll get a lot of shit done. The next day I rest. I do like Anna, I do yoga. I do stretches. I drink a lot of water. I, watch movies and eat my favorite snacks. But then after I eat, I get up, I do the dishes. I walk around, you know what I mean? I just keeping your body moving is key right now. You do not have to be a marathon runner. Walking is powerful. Just walking. Have you guys noticed Kathy Bates lost a lot of weight because I forget something was going on with her health, and so she lost a lot of weight. She's like, I've never been small like this. She's like, never. And I was like, I remember when I had pancreatitis and I lost all that weight, and somebody asked her the other day, they're like, what is your are you exercising? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm walking. She's like, but I couldn't walk before. She said I was so overweight and so out of shape that I couldn't walk. I ate the wrong food, so I didn't have the energy. She said, I'm ashamed to say that when I was on sets that other people would be standing around, but I always had to have a chair. And she's like, now look at me. I'm in my 70s. She's like, I have more life. I have more energy. I feel more beautiful. I feel more like myself. She's like, I'm not in that suit anymore of a person I thought I should be. And she was typecast a lot too, right? You know, like Misery, when she came out, like she was on, you know, a more robust energy woman. So, you know, I'm like, I don't know what she would say. I would never want to, you know, hurt anyone's feelings, but, you know, curvier. And I know because I've been everything from a 00 to a 22. So I know it's different for everybody. But I just thought that was really powerful. And that just is a testament to all of us that we only age when we slow down, but also take into consideration your age. Like Anna, I don't know if you felt this, but lately, even when I'll be doing yoga or I'll be doing a stretch and I feel really good, but then I kind of go off balance and I'm like, ow. And I like pulled something in my fucking shoulder. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I hadn't stretched that part of my body. So it is an everyday thing. We got to do a little bit every day, even if it's 5 minutes. You know, they have chair yoga, chair aerobics, you know, but just moving your body. We need to move, and cooking for ourselves and taking good care of ourselves. That is key right now. And Spirit's going to be talking to us a lot more about that now. Yes. And long walks in Mother Earth. Exactly. Right. Thank you, Anna. And so it is. I love you all so much. Thank you, Anna. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yes. Love, 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 Anna. Exactly. Love, love, love. Yes. Keep loving, keep loving. And when you're having a rough time or someone's irritating you, I always be like, I am love. I am love. And laugh your way through it. Laugh. I appreciate you too. Thank you, honey. I literally I laugh through everything now. Like earlier when I saw that, I was like, come on. The mice had gotten into an area that they had never been before. And what did I do? I tried to fucking make it better. I thought I was making it better. And now they started to go there. And I'm like, motherfucker, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just take it one breath, one step, one moment at a time. You got this. I believe in you. I believe in myself. Oh, I'm like, my voice is like, okay, bye, 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 bye. All right. I love you. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Thank you, Anna.